What's up? What's up? If you can hear me clearly, put a one in the chat. Good, 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 good. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. What's going on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are around the world? What is happening? All right, so today has been a day. I'm gonna tell you like this: like if you were on the right side of trades today of the market, you most likely made a killing um, behind the Jerome Powell and the rates and all that kind of stuff. Like you actually would have made a killing at the FOMC. Okay, it didn't hit me right there. Anyway, you would have made a killing, depending on your positions. Again, if you're on the right side of that. Anyway, so something special happened that I had not seen before. And what it was, now that I can sit back and look at that perspective, was that regardless wherever you're at in terms of your losses or your wins, you have to be able to maintain presence in the current situation. Meaning, so if you are losing a position, that you make sure that you preserve a sense of calm all the way through. Because if you allow those emotions, those trading emotions to get to you, the psychological effect to get to you as you're trading, right? You tend to react a certain way. You tend to overreact a certain way. And that's what happened to me today, right? And that's why I'm documenting this journey because, again, a lot of people don't see this. All they see is wins, losses, but a lot of people don't understand the psychological effects that it has on you, especially when you're watching your money go up and when you're watching your money go down, way down, right? So those are some of the things that we have to look at, because this is our daily life, right? You either gonna win or you're gonna lose in some aspects, and so there are times where you may have a winning streak, there are times where you have a losing streak, and there are times where it's just you don't do anything at all. So I'm here right now to let you know that today was a special day in terms of my thought process, but it also again kind of brought some stuff to the front in terms of hey, you got to maintain that presence all the way through. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to the chart. The chart, as you can see, the title is the same title I had earlier today. But here's how I lost $139,000 today trading SPY. Um, let's get into it. All right. So if you're looking at what I'm looking at here, this is my daily journal through TradeZella. So you can essentially buy your not buy. I mean, you can purchase this, but you can essentially add this to your account where you trade at your broker, and it will show you exactly what your profit and losses are. So you have to make sure that you set it up correctly in order for it to track. Okay. So if you take a look, if you see what I see right now, $139,000, 400. So basically, what happened was at first, the first trade I didn't trade up until about 10:30 was the first trade that I took. Let me go ahead and let me bring that up here. Hopefully, you can see that. Okay. So if you look here, the first trade was at 10:45. I waited. I waited to get into that trade. Um, uh, Hold on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I waited to get into that first trade. I just wasn't feeling it. I think there were a lot of other traders who were feeling the same way. Like they just weren't, feeling getting in. Although there were some ranges there where you can get in, but the first trade was um, down at the five. Let me see, what level was that? 10:45. That was at the okay. That was at the 501 area when I first took that trade. So about 200 contracts at about 1684 per contract, and then was able to capitalize on that roughly right in 10, was it 10 minutes? I closed that trade. No, I got in at 10:45 and I exited that trade at 1051 on an average of $17.45 per contract, right? So that's roughly came around to about $12,000 in profit. Boom, bada bing, we're good. We're good. First trade of the day. Waited. First trade of the day. Things were looking good, right? So the next trade that I took was approximately right around 11:39. So what was that? About an hour late, hour and some change, and some change later on. Let me go ahead and pull that one up here. Give me a second. That was at 11:39. Let's go. Let's go to it here. Okay, so if you can see here, you can see that. Wait, is that it? Uh, okay, 11:39. Let me get to it. Okay, that's the buy. So at 11:39, I entered into that trade, right? And that was about how much was that? 16. That was roughly about $16.71 per contract. And I got, is that 200 contracts? I think 200 contracts at that area. Okay, let me make sure I'm tracking this right. Yep, I'm tracking it right. Okay, so about 200 contracts at that area, right? Which roughly with the lot size, the adjusted cost was right around $334,000 for that trade, right? For the 200 contracts. So that entry was about $16.71 per. So I let that one just kind of ride, because at that point the that was at the 500 level. That was right at the bottom, right? That was kind of I was at the bottom down there. So guess what happened? That was a put. Guess what happened? It took off, right? It just took off. So while that took off, I'm looking for other positions, because overall the overall sentiment of the market was, hey, if Jerome Powell comes in and there's positive news, we're gonna take off, right? Which would be a great thing. If it's not, then we're gonna tank, right? But for me, if it took off, that wouldn't have been a great thing because I was not in any calls. I was only in puts from that level, as you can see. So that sucker took off. So I'm looking for a way to, kind of hedge that, right? So I jump into another trade. Um, this was a short one for $1,100. That was roughly at 12:30. So jumped in that, but I didn't exit until about 250, 257 around that time frame, and I'll get to that here in a second. Then there was a second one, 11:50, the same thing, $1,000 there. So took a little bit. The next trade I entered into was when I did the rollover. Okay, and I'm going to explain what happened. So when I did zero date on this particular trade. It was supposed to be for the next day, but I'm moving too fast. That hysteria is coming up. I'm like, man, I'm already behind in this other trade, and it's killing me. So I don't know where the market is going to go. And again, at that time, Jerome Powell finished. had already finished speaking, right? So I entered into that trade, and then wait, no. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I take that back. It's not showing me. It's not showing me that additional trade that I got into. That was the exit. So when I rolled it over. So anyway, I left to go to an appointment. Sat through that appointment right around 1:30 up until about two. I'd say right around 227, because if you look over here to the left, that's when I exited that position where I had a deficit of $139,000. And this play up here at 14, up top here at 1427, that's from the rollover. So what I did was when I came back, I panicked. I panicked. So when I panicked, I seen that. I mean, it was already. Let me see. It was all. The price was 507, 507 and some change, right? I mean, and that was roughly up there, right around. It was at like a $200,000 loss, somewhere around there at the time. It wasn't gone until I sold it, right? But still, right around that time, and then it came back down a little bit. So what I did was I rolled that position over, and I was moving so fast that I didn't realize that I had set two different option puts on that position. So the first one was the for the two. It split it up for 100 contracts at a price of $9.74 per contract up at the top, and the second one gave me an average entry of $1.74, and the average exit was $6.10, which really resulted in a gross profit of $87,000. But remember, that's part of it from that other short. I mean, from the rollover. So what I did wrong, I panicked, and I had two puts open under that rollover to the next day. So when they rolled over, um, one had automatically became profit, and the other one was not profitable. So after that, I panicked, and then I closed out the positions. Well, when I closed out the positions, once again, that was already in an excess of deficit of $139,000, and the $87,000 was the other 200, or the other 200 calls or puts. I'm sorry, the other 200 puts for the contract, which resulted in a net loss of roughly 100 or $37,000 loss net net. Okay, so all that work that was put in to get to that point, because I mean, if I would have been on the right side, it would have been over 200 something thousand dollars in terms of profit. But I got entered into that position down at the bottom. That sucker took off. I went to, and I didn't put a stop loss in to mitigate that, because I really thought that it was going to come back down, right? So I went to my meeting, came back, it was still hovering over that five something range, and I'm like, I got to mitigate this. So I closed out, and after I closed out, you guys know what happened? Y'all know what happened? That sucker went all the way back down to $500. $500. And that shocked the heck out of me. Not that I didn't want it to go there. I did, right? But I think I got caught in a position where I figured that that was it. Like, it was gonna stay there. So I needed to get out of that position, because I didn't know what was gonna happen going into tomorrow, right? I didn't know that. So I'm coming back, I'm panicking and everything. So rolled that over. Then I sold it right after that. As soon as I seen that it was coming down, I just wanted to take advantage of it. But it did not work out in my favor at that time. So listen, folks, listen. Everything was going good. everything was going good, and I let my emotions get ahead of me, and I panicked, and that is what resulted in that 37,000 or $139,000 loss. But net gross loss, I'm sorry, is 37. Let me go back here. 37.9 is the gross loss on that, due to the $87,000 in net profit, and then the 12, and then the two $1,000 plays there. So that gave me that edge. But had I not panicked and I waited for it to come back down versus rolling it over and then closing it out, thinking that I was in 100% profit, because it showed me a different number than what I saw. But you know what happens when you panic on things? Most likely you're gonna see something that you want to see, but it's not there, and that's what happened. So a net loss of 37,900 today, which puts me roughly at a overall, let me see, overall cumulative profit zone for this particular month is, or this month is May 1st. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me see. Let me see if y'all can see this. So it puts me at a cumulative profit, gross profit of 24,344 dollars, which I am set back from that. But overall I am still in profit. $24,000. I've just made too many mistakes. Too many mistakes psychologically, and rushing, of course, lot size. But in this day, I did want to go big, so that's neither here nor there. But you got to get those. I got to get those emotions in check, especially when I see that what it was doing. But if you look at your account, you see a $200,000 deficit too. I'm saying some things are going to go haywire in your mind, right? Not knowing what the inevitable was going to be, right? So it's one of those things where you just have to woosah sometimes, take your time, calm down, and go from there. And that's exactly I did the opposite of that. So here you are hearing me, but this is my journey, right? I got some goals in mind, and this is what I'm willing to do to get to those goals, right? And I think, some of the greatest millionaires, billionaires have lost hundreds and thousands of dollars in business deals and marketing and, properties and coming up. I mean, I think Grant Cardone the other day said he was in a net loss of something that's a few $1 million or something like that, in property. So I think he went and traded in his properties for Bitcoin and whatever. But when I hear those type of things, it keeps me in check. Like, you know what, you get set back, regardless of the mistake that you made, you get set back. You need to step it up and move 10 times forward, right? Because I'm not stopping here. Like I could have. It took me a while to breathe. That's why I didn't come back and do a recap video after a while, because it took me a while to breathe. But I can't give up. I can't give in. And I'm not going to stop. So people look at that, man, you lost all that money, man. You lost all that money. You lost all that money. It's not, it's a loss, but it's not. I'm still in profit. So, and I'm okay with that right now. If I wasn't okay with it, then it would, I wouldn't still be going, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to reassess tonight, look at some additional strategies, start looking at these charts a little bit more. I'm getting there, and change up some strategies here and there, and then find out what's going to work. I already know where the weakness is. I know where my weaknesses are. So when you've gotten that down, then you can continue implementing your plan and adjusting here and there, fine tooth comb, just adjusting a little bit. I remember when I was going through basic training, and it was time to go on a range and shoot. Well, when you're out there in the range, there's so much going on. You got cadre, you got other soldiers out there, and we're all out there trying to zero in on our sights for our expert badge, right? But it takes time to get there. You don't just and you get that 300-meter target. No, it takes time to get there. You may not get that 40 out of 40. You may get the first time you may get 15 out of 40 or whatever. I don't know, 35, 40, whatever it was. Next time you may get 27. And then next time you may get 38, 39 out of 40. But that's expert, tailored territory. So I'm shooting right now. I'm shooting at 27, 28, 29 out of 40, right? When I get to the point to where I'm more consistent, then it'll shoot up to, 32 out of 40, right? And when I'm in that expert mode, it won't be I don't think it'll be completely, 40 out of 40 sometimes, but over a period of time, I may come back down to that 29, that 28 level, and have to reel it back in, adjust my sights, and get back in and shoot at expert again, right? So that's what has to happen. But you got to realize that you have to check yourself, just like I'm checking myself right now. And that's why I'm documenting this journey, because again, a lot of people don't know what traders go through on a day-to-day basis. Oh man, you just sitting behind a computer. You just sitting behind a computer playing numbers. Some of the richest people in the world are playing numbers on Wall Street, right? Wall Street. You have to take a sacrifice. Remember Jeff Bezos, he took a sacrifice. He took a sacrifice for a multi-billion dollar companies. He was in a gross loss. He was not in profit for years. Look it up. Look it up. He was not in profit for years, but he stuck with it. He had an idea and he pushed forward with it. He asked people, "Are you willing to support me as I go through this? As I build this business? Can I borrow against my business 10, 20, 30 years?" He had a plan. And as he built that, look at the fruition today, right? 30 years or 28, whatever. So you get my point, right? This is not for show, for brag. I mean, who wants to come on and say, "Oh man, I lost $139,000." This is my journey, and I'm gonna take it where I want to take it. But who, in their right mind, who would come on and say I lost $139,000? So people want to paint that perfect picture that it's all glory out here in these streets. It's not. As you can see, the market was bloody yesterday, and it was bloody today. At the last minute, that sucker took a dump from 507 all the way down to 500.35. If I was on the right side of that, up there, if I was on that right side, guess what? I'd be telling you the opposite. I'd be saying, "Hey, look, I made it 300, 400, 1,000, $500,000 a day." It probably would have been about a $500,000 day, if not a little bit more. So I would have been telling you that, but I'm telling you this because you need to know that people go through the trenches in order to come out on the other side in the green. It's not all just glory. So I'm not going to beat myself up about that. I am not going to, after this, I'm not talking about it anymore unless I use it as an example. But this is it. I'm brushing it off my shoulder and I'm moving on to the next. You need to know that, it takes a lot of determination and strength to get where you want to go. It takes losses sometimes to get where you need to be. And when I made that first six figure, right? Had already been putting in work over the years, and I'm still putting in work, and I still have goals. But I'm the one that's going to have to push myself to go that direction. And that's why I support other people so much. Like if I see somebody who needs something, help you support your business, help you do this, do that, break people off here and there because I appreciate people what they do for what they do. I don't, it doesn't come back to me like that. And I don't expect it. it comes back to me in different ways. I get blessed in different ways, but it's very rare that I'll have someone come up to me and say, "Here's $100,000. Hey man, let me cash app you, couple thousand, couple whatever." That's rare. That doesn't happen to me. But what happens to me is it works out in miracles in other ways. So that way I can do the blessing. And I don't, if I'm on the other end of it, that's fine. But when I get blessed, right? When that blessing falls down, I get blessed. Hey, I know where I'm going with it. I know what I need to do with it. So that's my mission. So, and I'm getting a little emotional because this is passion talking, right? And this will go down in history books somewhere down. Somebody's going to be talking about it down the road. Like, man, did you hear about JRE? Dre? Yeah, man, he lost 100 something thousand. He lost 200 something $1,000, and he's still just as happy, go lucky, whatever. Moving on to the next day, right? Like it's nothing. It's not that it's nothing. It's not nothing, but it's something. That's 2 years worth of 3 years, 4 years worth of salary, 5 years worth of salary for some people. So I don't take it lightly, as it's nothing. But I just know that when you're playing with the house money, you're playing with the house money, and so you can leverage that. But that's the market. That's stock market. Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars are being transferred. Anyway, so that's it. Tomorrow, CST time 0830, Eastern Standard Time 0930. We will be back at moving this thing on again and going from there. So once again, I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for tuning in. And I think that is it for today, unless you have any questions for me. See y'all soon. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back at it.